Well, women's basketball fans, my goodness, the news came fast and furious all of today. Nneka Ogwumike announcing this will be her last season. Satu Sabally officially announcing that she will not compete for Team Germany as they host the FIBA World Cup in less than 20 days. Azzi Fudd out for the season with an injury that she's a nagging injury that she's been dealing with. But the good news is that Roberta and I are here, and Roberta was able to get some exclusives from some of your favorite Seattle Storm players. But we're going to kick this off talking about Nneka Ogwumike. I mean, Madam President.
Oh, Madam President, what a player, what a human being. I think that, you know, everyone has every person has something that people like and people don't like. And every time that you ask someone about a player, and having worked in the industry specifically, when you talk to people who have worked with the players, people who have met the players, um, you go like, oh yeah, that person, she's a great player, and she's a great player, but
Mm-hmm.
you never hear anything like this when it comes to Nneka. I have never heard and but when it comes to Nneka, everyone has always had nothing but praise to every part of her, not even her game, but every part of her, as a person, as a professional, and as a player. We're talking about someone who is, uh, a champion, an MVP, multiple time All Star, president of the WNBA, one of the most outspoken voices for players' rights. And I would dare to say that if the WNBA today was able to reach, a CBA in which players can make $1 million, it is vastly because of, Stanford graduate, Madam President. And just, we live in a time today when, people give just a little more room for women. And I say just very little more room for women and Black women to be, a little more, outspoken and to speak with authority. Uh, when NECA started, it was, I won't say it's better because it's still not good, but it was there was even less space for that. But she never sunk. She was never afraid to speak up, and she has always been a brave person, incredibly smart, ahead of her time mind. We are so lucky that we get to watch Nneka Ogwumike play, and I'm specifically even luckier to have had the opportunity to cover her for 2 seasons here in Seattle. So, when you cover a team, during summer, sometimes you see those play. I mean, in my case, I see players more than I see my family. I haven't seen my dad for 3 years, and I've seen Nneka Ogwumike tens of times this past 2 years. So you end up getting a glimpse into their, their effort, into their mentality. uh, and there hasn't been a single time that NECA was called to do media, and she was, you know and players get that, and that's absolutely fair. But I feel that NECA has a sense of respect for other people. It doesn't matter if it's a small outlet. It doesn't matter if it's a big outlet. It doesn't matter if it's an independent outlet like Black Rosie Media. It doesn't matter if it's ESPN. She is a person who commands a room when she walks in, and people respect her. I'll never forget. So when I was growing up, I remember I was at church and there was this woman who went to the stage and everybody was just like quiet to hear her. And I made this comment with my mom. I was like, "Mom, do you see that when that person there, everyone just listen to her?" And my mom was like, "Yeah, some people just comment that they don't have to say anything when they are there. They have earned so much respect and credibility that people are just going to pay attention to them. They are not gonna have to ask for silence or respect." And I feel that Nneka Ogwumike brings that. And she really is a complete basketball person. She's an amazing player. She's an amazing leader for the Players Association, and she's an amazing human being. So we're definitely gonna miss Nneka Hoops. And I'm also super excited to see what's next for her. Like I'm already thrilled to know what she's gonna do next.
Yeah, and so, she sat down with Taylor Rooks to make that official announcement, and that interview she teased a little bit earlier, and it came out today officially with Boardroom, and you know, it's shocking for sure for me, surprising, maybe not completely surprising. I think a lot of people knew that, and again, 15 seasons in the league, um, that more seasons behind her than in front of her, for sure. Uh, and I thought it was interesting, Nneka, in that interview, you know, she said that she wasn't exactly sure what kind of career she would have in the WNBA, but it well outlasted even her wildest kind of imagination and dream of what it could be. Like, she's surpassed even what her own expectation of herself was. So I thought that was so interesting. And Taylor also was like, really? Like, because you're right, she has a presence, she commands attention, she gives respect. That's why the other, what was it, a season or two ago, like, she kind of got in someone's face, and it was so out of character for her that it became this big
Yeah.
thing. Just because that's not how she operates. She's very thoughtful, and some people, when you can tell that they are thinking about what they want to say because they're really worried about either what they uh more so what they don't want to say. Nneka is thoughtful because of, one, her intellect, but also because she cares. She wants to be inviting and inclusive, and one really simple example was, I was doing a story for an outlet, and we were at All Star, and they wanted me to ask every player, like, what's a good travel hack. And Skylar Diggins is also just an interesting personality, and those two are kind of opposite sides of the spectrum in a few different ways. But when I asked Skylar, she was like, flying private. And I was like, yep, no, that is a hack if you can afford it. Nneka, she thought about it, and then she's like, oh, well, is it, is this something that should be accessible? Like, do you want me to give things that are going to be accessible to people? That was her question to me, and I thought that was so interesting, and I was like, "Nah, girl, this is like what you do and what is important for you." She's like, "Oh, well, I just want to know, or like, if it should be things that everybody can enjoy." I thought that was so interesting and really telling of her character. I've been able to interview her a few times, and also we were talking about Diana Taurasi and, of course, her Ring of Honor, her jersey retirement. Diana Taurasi is the leading all-time scorer in the WNBA. Number 2 and 3 are active players. Number 2 is Dewana Bonner, and number 3 is Nneka Ogwumike. So on the We Need to Talk Now podcast that I co-host with Alicia J on CBS Sports, we were saying who would be the next to surpass. And both with Dewana and Nneka, we knew that they have more or more seasons and games behind them than they do in front of them. So we said, well, we, specifically with Dawana, I know that she's wanted that record. She has an eye on it. So we talked about that, but I couldn't help myself. Y'all know how who I am and how I am, and I had to get a few things off of my chest when it comes to the legacy of Nneka Ogwumike, and as many accolades as she does have: MVP of the league, champion, I believe an 11-time All-Star, 15 seasons in the game. There's one very specific thing that Nneka doesn't have, not because she ever lost it, but more so because she was never even given a chance. So let me play this clip. Before we go, I'm going to put this in here because I got irrationally mad earlier today, just like in my house cleaning and thinking that Nneka Ogwumike has never played for Team USA on the senior women's team.
What?
Like, I got irrationally mad about that. And so I just want to let y'all know that someone who is third overall behind Diana Taurasi, who has the most ever Olympic medals in USA history, and Dawana Bonner, who played with Diana Taurasi, is 15 seasons in and is roughly 1,000 points ahead of Asia and Stewie right now. She's still behind Dawana by a wee bit here, but I just wanted to put that out there. I'm just trying to understand how someone who is right now a top 3 all-time scorer in the WNBA wasn't good enough for Team USA. I'm feeling a little spicy today.
Erica, I knew that, but I think I buried it because I didn't want to be mad, and now I'm mad along with you.
I didn't mean to pass on my anger to you. It just, like, I'm telling you, I was sweeping, I was heating up some food, and I was like, oh, and another thing I gotta be mad about today. So, this was actually on Monday. We record our YouTube show on Mondays, and then we record a live show on Thursdays, which will be tomorrow. And so on Monday, I was thinking about Nneka Ogwumike, and I was thinking about, because the segment had nothing to do with Team USA, but I was thinking about the fact that Nneka Ogwumike has never played. She's played for Team USA and in like World Cups, if I'm not mistaken, but she's never played for the Olympics. So I could have been a little more specific in that clip, but the argument still stands. She has never won an Olympic medal for Team USA. And that to me makes no sense. Not only has she not done that, but she's the only player who's won WNBA MVP who has never represented the United States at the Olympics.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was Skylar who has. You mentioned about how different Skylar and Nneka are. They are like polar opposites of each other. Still, I have never seen two plays ride harder for each other than the both of them. And there is a clip, I think we actually showed it here on this podcast, in which Skylar Diggins calls out everyone, saying that Nneka is the most disrespected MVP in league history. And that, I don't know if that's the one that she cried talking about Nneka. I don't know if that's the one, but it's true. It's true because Nneka is just someone who is so quiet and calm.
She's humble, yeah.
She's someone who never takes the glory for herself. We were talking last week on this podcast about how Stewie is that player that you're like, oh my god, Stewie's doing nothing on this game, and then she has like a double-double, almost a triple-double. I feel like that's Nneka Ogwumike in terms of career. She was an NCAA champion, right? So
No, I don't.
I'm not sure because it was that time like that Stanford. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look.
I don't think she won a title. She's been to the Final Four.
Yeah, absolutely. But like Nneka has won in like almost every level that she played, she won a championship. She is a winner. Uh, and she is, we also talked here about how um, Sonia Rahman, the Storm head coach, is, she's so smart, but like it's not just like, oh my gosh, she's smart. It's like so smart. Someone who has a different kind of smart. Erica, sorry, Nneka Ogwumike is also like that. It's
I mean, Erica too. Like, come on.
yes, yeah. Because there are four Ogwumike sisters, and you know, two went to Stanford. One now is becoming a doctor, and like a doctor, and the other one is, I think, is a professional athlete too. Anyways, I do not want to be their cousin. It's a joke for Latino families. So she's a different kind of smart, and she's book smart. She's emotionally intelligent. She's a winner in every level. And when she's passed on, when people pass on her, she doesn't come at
Girl,
them.
not you saying when she's passed on that way, like passed over. Passed
Oh, passed.
on, girl.
What is
Passed
so?
on. That's she's gone to the Heavenly Father. Don't do
Oh,
that.
I don't.
For
I
some
was like,
people, I was like, wait a
if
minute.
someone doesn't invite, if she's not called for the national team, like someone passes, oh, it's
It
passes.
was so I passed on can be used that way, but you were talking about accolades, and I don't know. My mind was like, whoa,
No, passed over.
No,
No,
Eagle's brother was
no.
like, dang, she said R.I.P. Nneka.
No.
Passed over. Passed
Guys,
over. I was like, girl, wait a
on
minute.
at in over. I never get those right.
It's okay. You can use that term. It was just within the context.
Okay.
My brain
So
went
when people
overlook.
when people overlook Nneka, she's
was
not
like,
someone to. I'm sorry, Nneka. That's not what I meant. She's not the kind of person who's gonna go on the media and say something. Like Candace Parker when she was not called for the national team. Stewie when the Storm didn't do the video. When players go, and rightfully so, they express their minds about about it, and it's fair. Honestly, I'm all for it. But Nneka doesn't, and I don't want to guess what's on her mind, but considering the way that she has been with all of us and how she's so considerate, I do think that she worries about other people's feelings, even if that person did something that is taking an opportunity from her. So I think it has to do with that, and I think she has such, like I said, a mind ahead of her time. When she took over as WNBA president, the WNBA was so far from being where it is today, and if there's one person she was not afraid of hurting feelings or one organization, it's the WNBA, because again, that's part of being smart and having a mind ahead of your time. You want to be pragmatic. If you're going to upset someone, you are going to upset the one that needs to be upset, and everyone, and you command so much respect, the people around you are going to support you. So I feel that Nneka is almost like the moral compass of this league. I think so. And during the All-Star game, something really caught my mind in the post-game presser. Because everyone was asking the players, what was fun? What was this? What did you do this weekend? And for Nneka, it was always like, the CBA this, the CBA that, and the coach said this. And I asked her, I was like, Nneka, you wear so many hats in this league, and it seems like there's an expectation for you to be the spokesperson for the hard things. I was like, do you take this as a burden, and do you get to have fun and enjoy the All-Star game? And again, she gave the most thoughtful response about how when she sets herself up, when she puts herself up to do something, she does that with all of her heart, and she does try like the All-Star weekend is business. She's working. So, and at that moment, no, maybe it's projecting, but I did feel like I was like, damn, everyone is getting all of the fun questions, and then here comes Nneka, and she gets all of like the hard questions that might get like the bad headlines. And I feel like people are doing that to Gabby too, because people are always like asking Gabby the hard questions. So it's heavy is the crown, and I feel that Nneka has kept her head high and carried that crown with so much class and grace. I think she's today. I think she is the biggest role model of the WNBA in terms of everything, because represents she represents elite, both in terms of basketball and in terms of a professional, in terms of a human being. So
Yeah.
we're just so lucky that Nneka Ogwumike decided to play basketball. Like, if she weren't playing basketball, I don't know what she would be.
Literally anything she wants. I mean,
Anything she wants, but like, we are so damn lucky that Nneka Ogwumike chose to play basketball professionally, and we get to cover her. And it's because of her that we had one of the most thrilling moments in women's sports history with the WNBA, with WNBA players finally getting $1 million contracts. So
yeah.
thank you, Madam President. We hope you stay around. It's been a pleasure covering you. I know I nagged you with hard questions. But just as a women's basketball fan, thank you for gracing us with your basketball and just who you are.
Yeah, I mean, very well said. And I've been able to interview Nneka a few times, and she's always so gracious with her time, thoughtful with her answers, and she does, yeah, she has a concern for how other people are engaging with whatever it is that she's doing. So I want to get to some questions about Nneka before we move on. Because we have some here. This first one is from Striatic. Does it feel like a new era is turning over now? Now, this is an interesting question because for me, it's been in motion for a while. And I saw this question and I started because I wanted to get to it. But Nneka isn't the impetus for me. Now, this one hit hard. I wasn't expecting that news today. It was already an emotional day. Like, I started today scrolling earlier than I probably should have in my day. I'm working on it. But I came across a video talking about the Baz Luhrmann adaptation of Romeo and Juliet, which is by far one of my favorite adaptations of anything Shakespeare, let alone Romeo and Juliet. And then naturally that got me thinking about one of the most epic songs in that soundtrack, which is epic in and of its own. The song and the scene are perfect, and it's the Desiree song, and Desiree is in the movie singing her song, and it's just like, and it's an extremely emotional and emotionally draining song. So naturally I played it like 5 times in a row. And as I'm playing this song is when the news breaks. So I'm getting alerts, I'm getting text messages, and I'm like near tears.
No.
I was already in a worked up state. And if you know the song and you know the scene and you are of a certain age,
what's the song again?
it's called I'm Kissing You. By Desiree from the soundtrack of Romeo and Juliet. And there's a specific type of millennial who knows what I'm talking about. And I appreciate y'all because that's how I started my day. And that landed me right in the middle of the Nneka situation. And then I'm very grateful for the work that I do. So I didn't really have time to stay in my feelings. So somehow I had to pick myself up off of the floor after already putting myself in an emotional state. Sometimes I'm not a big crier. And then there's just like a day every 365 days where I absolutely lose it. And
But once a
apparently
year.
today was the day.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah, that's like that is quiet uptown from Hamilton for me. Can hear
that's a
that
tough one.
without crying.
That's a
Can
tough
hear
one.
that song.
That's a tough one.
That
Yeah.
rips.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we can talk about Hamilton. I know how you feel about Hamilton. I went on a very wayward route there, but that is a true story. That actually happened today. I'm not exaggerating at all. I am this dramatic in real life. So anyway, but when I'm thinking about Striatic's question, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you, Striatic. It's fantastic. And I'm like, well, now I need to make sure I know I did own the DVD. I couldn't tell you where it is now, but I need to get another copy just because of what the state of the world is. And I would be heartbroken if I could never watch that ever again. So I was going through a lot this morning, but when I saw Striatic's, all of that to say, when I saw Striatic's comment in the chat, I think the other retirement that absolutely gutted me was actually the one, at least for the WNBA era, that I think was right after the first big era, like the start of the WNBA, is the news of Maya Moore retiring.
Oof. So the Maya Moore news didn't get to me because it was not a basketball related retirement. I think that's why it was like it wasn't. The ones that really got me were when Lauren Jackson stopped. It was because her body had taken a toll, and Elena Deladon was also because
she's
her
another
body.
retirement that was tough.
Yeah,
but also kind of writing on the wall.
Yeah, Maya Moore shifted her focus to other things. So
and see, for
I
me,
think
that's the exact reason why. First of all, I'm not even talking about the emotions. I know I just went on I gave you like an entire short story on my morning. This was all before 10 a.m. local. Anyway, but for me, yes, I hear what you're saying, and that's how critical Maya Moore was.
Yeah.
She was, I don't even know if we can say at her peak, because she retired at a time that maybe she was just getting there. We have no idea how many championships Minnesota would have if Maya Moore didn't retire.
I was thinking about that today. I had on Wednesdays, I have my dog who I share custody with my ex-wife. So I was on the way to return him, and I was thinking about Maya Moore because that's what I do when I drive. I think about retired basketball players who should not have retired. And I was just thinking, because that team would definitely had stayed together. And at that point, they had added Sylvia Fowles to it.
That's another retirement. Oh.
Yeah. So Cheryl Reeve would have kept that core of Maya Moore, Lindsay Whaling, Rebecca Brunson, Sylvia Fowles, and Simone Augustus. They would have at minimum together 2 more.
I was going to say at least 2. At least.
At minimum. And that's not an exaggeration.
No.
By any means. Because Nafisa Collier would come in and some of those players would still be there. Maya Moore and Nafisa Collier would probably have played together. That no one would ever stop. And now, I think it's important to take a look because Nneka is still playing, right? Nneka was drafted in 2012.
Well, Nneka was a part of those Sparks teams that sparred with Minnesota. Yeah. That's why I joke a lot. People think I'm joking, but it's actually statistically accurate that if you look at the statistics, Minnesota doesn't win championships in what is it, even years? They only win in odd years.
They didn't make playoffs the year
before. They were they were shifting
Yeah.
effectively with LA during that time.
Yeah. And so when you look, so Nneka is 15 years into the league.
Mhm.
You know, I'm gonna say something that some people might say it would be a stretch. I don't think it would be a stretch. If Maya Moore had stayed healthy, she would be playing with this Minnesota Lynx team. So she would be playing with Olivia Miles. You know,
Well, first of all, and you said this about Fee, and I let it go, but I don't know if Fee, we'd have to look at how they acquired that pick. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because could
mm,
they, given
yeah,
that Minnesota got Miles because of Chicago, maybe Miles, although I'm not sure that I think Maya Moore would still be playing. But the point is that I don't know if they would actually realistically have Nafisa Collier. I get it. It's like fun to think about, but I don't know how realistic that is. But I hear your point. I hear your point.
yeah. We're talking about, in terms of longevity, because Dewana Bonner is still playing, and she was drafted 2 years before Maya Moore. Of course, that Minnesota probably wouldn't have had those high of picks because they would probably be crushing everyone and never even have, or some of those have to do some of those. Sorry, guys, I'm recovering from a cold, and sometimes my throat just closes. So I think that if Maya Moore were still playing, there are some retirements that they really sting, and it's because it's just like it should not have ended. And for me, it's those three: Maya Moore, Elena Deladon, and Lauren Jackson.
Yeah.
Every time, those three for me are the end of careers that it actually hurts. Like
Oh,
people
I
are gonna
was,
say, "Oh,
and
it's just
yeah,
sports."
and the thing
No.
that really pissed me off about the Maya Moore retirement was how people were acting about it. Like, listen, it's one thing to say that, you're emotional about it, but like people were
Mhm.
actually mad and making like jokes. But are you joking about like she should have never met her husband, Jonathan,
Yeah.
and all of that work? And I was like, okay, like let's calm down. Maya
Yeah.
Moore doesn't
Yeah.
owe anybody anything. And actually,
No.
you hear Cheryl Reeve and a lot of other people like yours truly say it. A lot of people who swear up and down that they loved Maya Moore didn't even talk about her. You want to talk about an underrated superstar, which is wild to say. I don't know how you can say it is wild that Maya Moore would ever even be considered underrated because of what she did. And yet she was drastically underrated and underappreciated by media,
Mhm.
by media for sure. When
Yeah.
he was in the league, like
Yeah.
the most underreported on superstar, and not because she was a diva or didn't like talking to media or wasn't good at talking to media. Maya had the sweetest voice. Had I say like
Yeah.
she RIP? No, Maya had the sweetest
Look
voice.
at us.
She has the most genuine disposition. You wonder how she could even be so ferocious on the basketball court because the
Yeah.
Maya Moore that you speak to has none of that.
The softest of the voice. And
Angel, like an angel.
I so Damiris Dantas, who is now with the Fever, she was drafted by the Minnesota Lynx, and she was raised by Cheryl Reeve and Maya Moore, and uh, years and I would sit down and talk to the meetings, because sometimes we would just like sit down, and when we were in Brazil, we've known each other for such a long time, and just like chat. I was like, hey, so you're playing in Minnesota, and I just have to ask, as like a women's basketball fan, what is it like just being Maya Moore's teammate? And she said, you could never tell that she is the best, the biggest star today, because one of these days I was at home, I was recently arrived to the US, someone knocks at my door, it was Maya Moore bringing me like some food to see if I was feeling well, from being from just getting to the country, for just being here. And I think Maya Moore is from Atlanta originally, and then
Um, I don't know if she's from Atlanta. I think she's from Georgia, though.
Yeah, because then Damiris went to play on the Atlanta Dream. And she told me that Maya Moore's mom would take care of her the whole time that she was there. And she kind of like calls her also, like Maya Moore and Maya Moore's mom would basically like take care of Damiris as if it was like, Maya Moore's sister or part of their family. So
and I believe it. I believe it.
yeah, and like they still have, and it's when Sylvia Fowles got you,
another sweet heart.
These women in the WNBA, you get some of the most precious human beings, and it all ties back to Nneka Ogwumike, who is also one of the softest
of that ilk. So to go back to your response, like Striatic, there's no way to say that Nneka, at least for me, is the beginning of this. She is a continuation of heavy hitting retirements.
Yeah, I do want to give an answer about that. I think that for me, the one that's really gonna hit me, like the one that's really going to hit me, that it's a new era in the WNBA when BG retires.
And that's what
that for me.
I want to read what Eagles brother has on the screen.
Yeah.
So for our audio listeners, hey audio listeners, we appreciate you. Here's what's on the screen from Eagles brother. I think once BG, Brittany Griner, and Skylar Diggins retires, that's when it will hit me hard about the changing of the guard.
Yep, for me, it's gonna be BG when BG retires.
Okay, so how many more seasons for Skylar? How many more seasons for Brittany Griner? And specifically with BG, do you think she went to Connecticut in hopes of ending her career in Houston?
I think that I think both BG and Skylar is still having them, I mean, physically and basketball wise, for 2 more seasons. Now, I don't know if Skylar Diggins has the patience for another Chicago Sky season. I don't know. I think that's the main thing for me with Skylar.
That shouldn't happen in the first place.
Yeah, I think that the thing for me with Skylar is going to be what she's willing to withstand in the league now. I think that for Skylar, that's gonna be. Excuse me, I really have to call.
Well, that was Roberta Rodriguez, everybody.
I'm sorry, everyone. I've been coughing for 2 days now.
Let me give you a break.
Where's Skylar? Okay, thank you.
Let's give you a break. Okay. So yeah, I think what Roberta is saying, and I don't know how much Skylar has actually talked about this publicly, but there is a lot of kind of surmising that Skylar Diggins, and they are now vacuuming in the hallway here, so apologies if you hear some extra noise, but there was a lot of chatter that perhaps the reason that Skylar Diggins did go to Chicago, because I never thought that made sense from like a basketball perspective, because as we've talked about before, the Chicago Sky as an organization are a mess. But I think that being closer to Indiana, which is her home, and I think we can all agree that Skylar Diggins is not going to be playing for the Indiana Fever anytime soon, if at all. That was the closest to home she could be, and be playing basketball. So I think that's where Roberta is coming from, because when the Sky said they were going to have her playing off of the bench, and that was not something that seemed to be what her expectation or understanding of the situation was, Skylar basically shut herself down and, never played off the bench because she hasn't played since that's what she told the world. Speaking of whole different way of, handling things. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm up in the air with Skylar. I do think that Brittany Griner, though, will go if BG can. I think physically, and honestly, I'm surprised that BG is kind of still going, just because I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. this is actually, and I need to, this is tough because Brittany Griner has said that the blocks record is one that she targeted. And she goes to Connecticut. And for those who don't know, Margot Diedick had the record, set the record, had the record for decades. And then BG just broke that record this year. And for BG to break that record and now to own the blocks record whilst playing for the Connecticut Sun in the Connecticut Sun last season, I mean, that's storybook. It's been criminally underrated. So is that enough? Or the fact that by way of signing with Connecticut, you have to assume that the Houston Comets, assuming that's what they will be called, because apparently there's some question about trademarks. Anyway, that the Houston team will, of course, inherit and they'll own the rights, so to speak, to the players on the team, on the Connecticut team. And Brittany Griner is from Texas. I don't think Brittany Griner's going to nobody's Dallas Wings, because that's another organization that can't get their life together. So is it enough, even if it's like a situation where it's like on the roster, signs like a one-day contract, retires as a Houston Comet? I mean, is that going to be it? Or is there more that BG wants to do on the court? I don't know.
I have a hot take for BG next season and Houston's. BG signs. Does she have a 2-year contract with the Sun today?
I am not sure. We'll have to go to her.
Anyway, let's see. She plays for Houston. Because she's in Houston, Beyonce goes to her first WNBA game ever. And that's going to be a Houston Comets game against the Las Vegas Aces. And then
that is a very, I don't know what I thought you were going to say, but I can guarantee that was nowhere on my list.
I think that
okay.
I think BG is gonna cause Beyonce to go to her first WNBA game.
What, pray tell, makes you think that?
Because it's in Houston, and Beyonce, Houston, Texas, and it's BG. BG has clout for that. And if it's against the Aces, it's Asia Wilson. Beyonce and Asia Wilson have met before. I can go through on many tangents of pop culture and the WNBA.
That's
my thing.
An aggressive stretch to me. Like, I thought you were going to be like, oh, because like Beyonce follows Brittany Griner on social media and has done this. It's just by way of that Houston exists.
The only person Beyonce
also it wouldn't be her
follows
first WNBA game, just to clear that up.
You wouldn't be?
No, Destiny's Child has performed at a WNBA game.
Oh, talking
So
like
sorry
you know,
to
court side.
burst that
Court
bubble.
side.
Because when you've been around as long as me, I know some things.
Here's
memory.
the thing.
Just by memory.
It's important to note that the only person that Beyonce follows on social media is Jay-Z. And that's when she's not mad at him. Because then her following counts. It goes
Okay,
like
this is like I am not a Beyonce fan, and now I'm going to get a wave of people. Beyonce fans are something else, and I say this because my mother is in the Beehive, like squarely in the Beehive, and even my own mother, who gave birth to me. Like I have her DNA in my body. She will come after me if I say quote unquote the wrong thing about Beyonce. And y'all know me well enough to know that I genuinely don't care. So it's like a thing. I just have to leave it alone because my mom might swing at me. Like, I'm 40 years old and she actually might swing at me. So we're gonna leave it there so that there's not, a domestic squabble.
For me, it's Brittany Griner.
Come to Tulsa just to womp on my ass, and then what do? Like, that's my mom, but also I'm grown, so I don't know. I don't want to find out. So let's move on. We're gonna move on from this conversation.
Megan Thee Stallion is also from Houston. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Is BG financially set? First of all, you got to also remember that these salaries just got to this point. So I don't know. Ask BG. Ask BG.
Yeah, that BG because she has been signed. She has been signed by Nike for a really long time. She has
Oh,
books.
Nike,
She's
Nike,
what did I say?
Nike.
I never say that. When I say Nike, people say it's Nike. The Swish brand. She signed with Nike, um, and she has books, and of course, the unfortunate situation in
Yeah,
Russia that brought she became nationally known. So uh,
I don't know, but
financially, I would say.
going through a
I was
divorce.
gonna say divorce and 3 kids that she is supporting financially. I do think she's well,
Because of
but like,
Lojo's twins.
hmm yeah, I do think that she's doing well financially. But
That's Glory Johnson for those.
that's the same. That's the same thing with Skylar for me. I think that Skylar's gonna
Yeah,
get as much money as she can,
as
and
she can.
honestly, you do
Get
that.
it back. They
Get.
more than deserve it. They more than deserve it.
Mhm.
So I'm with it. I'm with it. Okay, we've done a lot of talking, and rightfully so, on this topic because these are the legends, the icons of the game. But we are going to move on because we have some other things also that we want to talk about. Unfortunately, we have, and I alluded to this in the open, FIBA updates. No Satu Sabally for Germany, who is the host nation. Now, this is gut wrenching on several levels. Satu Sabally, Niara Sabally, who has also been injured, and Leonie Fibic, but especially the Sabally sisters. And did I rant about this on this podcast or on Gotta Get Up? I don't remember. So I guess I'll just do it again. I covered in Paris the 2024 Olympics, and what was wild is that unfortunately Niara Sabally was in concussion protocol for the majority of the Olympics. And yet a team that made it to the quarterfinals and had a really phenomenal game against Belgium, Niara Sabally at the end of the tournament was still one of the leading scorers. And by one, I mean like top two. She was one of the leading scorers for Germany. That's how critical she was for them in the short minutes. I think she played one full game. It was insane. Satu was the other leading scorer, and Leonie Fibic was number 3. So the fact that they might be without all three, it's a possibility. We don't know exactly where Fibic is with her recovery. That's gut wrenching for a team that is not only hosting, but is a team that it was looking to see if they could get through a knockout round, because the 2024 Paris Olympics was not only Niara and Leonie and Satu's first Olympics, it was the first Olympics for Germany outright. The women's national team had never made the Olympic tournament, and they got to the qualifiers. So that's really heart-wrenching. And if you follow Black Rosie Media, as you should, if you haven't already, subscribe. You are obviously watching us on YouTube right now, so subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we have new videos, but also follow us on social media, your platform of choice, except for Twitter, because we don't do that. Anyway, you can follow us on social media, and you might have seen, or if you subscribe to our newsletter, the Women's Basketball Newsletter, you might have seen that France has not named their roster. Now, we reported on this on Monday. It's already Wednesday. So we are now 16 days from the World Cup, and we don't have a roster for the French team. This is the French team that has players like Dominique Malonga, like Marine Johannes, like Marine Fatux, like Pauline Astier, and on and on and on. Carla Late, Janelle Salon, Gabby Williams, who played for the Seattle. There are 11 French players that could qualify and have already been named to a 32-player roster for a camp that 11 of them will not be going to because they're in the United States playing in the WNBA. But they could have 11 players that are active in the WNBA on a 12-player roster for FIBA, but we don't have a roster yet. And this is very different because 2 years ago, Roberta, we were talking about why there were no French national team players in the WNBA because of a little clause called prioritization. And I promise you, I would love to tell you what happened to prioritization, because I have read, not completely thoroughly, but I have given a poli-sci skim to the new CBA, and I have not found anything yet. Now, it is a skim, not a deep dive. I will admit to that. But I have not seen anything about prioritization. And so, me being who I am, I reached out to the WNBPA and asked, hey, what's up with prioritization? And I have yet to get a response. And do you know when I reached out? Not today, not yesterday, not even last month. I reached out in May.
Yeah, I'll say that I did talk to someone directly involved with things related to players prioritization, and what I have been told is that the rules have not changed in anything and that player salaries are prorated if they miss games, blah blah. So but I also haven't really had the chance to go through this CBA. I went through all of the other ones. This one I haven't had a chance yet.
It's do I still have it in here? Like, it is thick because I like to like write notes and stuff.
Yeah,
anyway.
I printed all of the other ones. But yeah, so we didn't. It was we didn't have many of the French players because of prioritization,
right?
But now almost all of them,
right? And including, of course, Dominique Malunga, who Roberta was able to catch up with. So if you want to hear from the French national team players that are on the New York Liberty, then go read the story. It's on blackrosiemedia.com, free to read. Go check it out. You'll get quotes from Marine Ioannis, from Marine Fatux, as well as Pauline Astier. But right now, you're going to get to hear from the one and only Dominique Malunga.
We know that the list for the French national team still hasn't been announced, but what would it mean for you to represent France in the World Cup?
It would mean everything. I mean, I feel really proud every time I get the opportunity to represent my country, especially for the World Cup. It's really big, and especially this upcoming one. I feel like this is a World Cup that can be different for us from the competitions before, and so yeah, being able to be part of that one will be amazing for me.
When you say it could be different, what do you mean?
I think just the result that we can get. I think we can go for something really big, something that we haven't done before, and I think we really have the group. Even if we don't know who's going to be the 12, I think we have 15 to 20 players that are able to do something big now. We know that.
Like you said, the 12 they're going to Berlin haven't been announced yet, but there are so many French players who are well qualified for this World Cup. Do you think that now with the amount of French players in the WNBA, you all who play here have more of an advantage over making the national team?
I would say I think so, because it's about like the players we face now on a regular basis. We just play against the best in the world, so naturally it makes us part of the best in the world, I would say. So yeah, naturally just evolving in this league like put some value on our names, and of course I think helps us just making national team easier. But I think we still have to work hard for that spot. It's not something that you can earn, like that's going to be given to you. I think it's still something you need to earn, and so despite maybe an advantage just because of the position that we have, I think it's just something that you have to work for.
In terms of preparation, physically you're going to go on a break from the WNBA to go overseas and play for the national team and come back. How are you preparing for that?
I think it's just the preparation starts now with the little thing that you can control, your sleep, your recovery, how you eat, and all the stuff. So just like locking in on that, and there's not so much you can do because you, at the end of the day, have to do all those travels and have to play all those games, and so just prepare your body to be ready for that big stretch ahead.
So we're going to pause it there because we are going to hear a little bit more from Dominique as well as Ezzy Magbagor. But let's start with that. I mean, the French national team, again, big storyline that those French players were not in the league. And by that, we're really specifically talking about Gabby Williams and Marine Johannes, because those two players going into Paris had the most continuity in the WNBA. You had like players like Ayayi, who had also had some appearances and actually made a return this year. But it was really those two players. Dominique Malonga, of course, just being her sophomore season, so to speak, was not in the league at the time. But I think it was interesting also from Marine's perspective that now there's less time in the lead up to the FIBA World Cup. And so you heard a little bit there from Dom about how she thinks that may impact the game. I mean, what's your take on this, given that you were obviously there and interviewed Dom? But do you think this could have an impact in how the French national team plays and competes in the World Cup?
I think so, and I really like the fact that Dominic Malonga was just very direct in saying that yes, there is sort of an advantage, and that there is a bigger point for French players who are in the WNBA to make the French national team, and it has a lot to do with who they are facing on a day-to-day basis. The team that is going to represent the USA is players who are in the Aces, players who are in the Liberty, who are in the Fever, in the Dallas Wings. If you are playing against those teams on a regular basis, you already know those players.
Well, those players, yeah. Well, you meant the WNBA teams.
Yeah. So if the French players in the W are playing against those teams, then they know their opponent, they know their players, and we know that a national team the U.S. national team doesn't play like the Aces, doesn't play like the Wings, but you have a player who has a style of play. If you know how Chelsea Gray plays, you can already gain. If it's ever possible to have an advantage against Chelsea Gray, then you already know how she likes to pass. You know what side she likes to cut. You know how she's going to find Asia Wilson and Jackie Young. So that does give an advantage. And it also points to the fact that when people say that the best talent in the world is in the WNBA, the same way that the best talent in the world on the men's side is in the NBA. So the national team is going to want to bring the players who are among the most talented. That's why international players want to make to the WNBA, because it is where the best of the best are. So it makes total sense. I know that Marine Johannes said that and you mentioned that in Gotta Get Up. And players are aware of that. When Gabby and Marine, they have been like the face of the French national team. But there are so many who are, you have Carla Leite is with the French national team, the rookie Marine Fotou, with the Liberty. It's just fascinating what they have been able to do. I feel that it's so upsetting that Germany is losing those players, because I feel that this is a team that could kind of go the France route, and they are missing this opportunity because of that.
At home too.
Yeah. Now, one thing, like I said, I've been watching international basketball since I started watching basketball. There has always been a team that, like, oh, that's the team that has the potential to beat the US. That's the team on the rise, and it has been Spain, it has been Czech Republic, it has been Belgium, and for the first time, France might actually be the team that can or will beat the US in the championship game. And I will say that I never really thought those previous European teams actually had a chance against the US, just because of the star power that the US holds. But this French team, I do believe they can, and it's partially because it is a lot because of who they play against most of the time.
Yeah.
They play the WNBA, they play the players who are here. The players are always active, the French players. So during the off season, during EuroLeague and Euro Cup, the WNBA players are still playing against each other.
Yep.
So I think that today more than ever, French has the best chance of beating the US. And my God, that Olympic final.
Oh, it was so good.
That-
I couldn't believe I was there. The semifinal was good. The quarterfinals were good. I mean, it was a great tournament. It was such a good tournament. But hey Henry, thanks for popping in. Henry saying current FIBA rankings, USA 1, Australia 2. Australia has 7, yes, I believe it is WNBA affiliations. I know what I can do. Let me check the guide that we created at Black Rosie Media for our newsletter subscribers. I will do that in a minute, but I want to read what else Henry had to say because it will lead us into our next segment. And we were going to talk WNBA, and then all of this news came, so we had to talk about this. But Henry also says, I think France may have overtaken Australia, which, of course, Roberta, is very interesting because one shot for gold.
Yeah.
You were able to get some great nuggets from Dominique Malango, who we just heard from, but also Azzi Magbagor. And these two are in the same group or the same time slot for pre-game shoot-around. And I thought it was great. This is an exclusive interview from Black Rosie Media for Black Rosie Media. The amazing Roberta F. Rodriguez is the person who got this audio. And I thought this was an adorable nugget. Dominique Malanga versus Azzi Magbagor for the gold in a simulator in Seattle Storm uniforms. Let's go to the rest of this clip.
If you were called for the national team, you might face Jade and Azzi in the first round. Do you guys have like any jokes with each other? Like, how are you feeling about facing your team?
I mean, we always joke about like every time because I shoot with Azzi, she's my shooting partner. So every time we have the last shot, it's like this is the shoot for the gold medal or whatever. But we always joke that we're gonna face each other at the gold medal game. So I hope that's gonna happen.
If Dom's shooting, I'll say for the bronze medal or something, and she'll say for the gold medal. So it's always like it's just like a fun thing. Like this last shot, final shot, we'll say like, if I'm shooting, I'll be like for the gold medal over Dom, like against France. So I don't know. We're just like putting it out there in case it does happen.
Putting it out
That
there
was
in
amazing.
case it does happen. I mean, I thought it was great. The full interviews we will have for wrong button, Erica. We will have the full news, the full clips coming up in newsletters as we march on to the FIBA World Cup. But of course, we're going to have you covered here at Tempestade Talk, keeping a local eye on your Seattle Storm. But, tell me a little bit more about that. I mean, the clip they're talking about, again, something that happens and seems to be a little bit of their routine and ritual before games.
Yeah, it was just so endearing and sweet because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes to show how the difference of what a World Cup and the Olympics mean for international players. Because, a team wins the WNBA and they say they're world champions, right?
No, only Las Vegas does that.
Only Las Vegas, yes. But I know that the NBA does that and other sports do that. So there's that thing that if you win a major league in the US, you are the best in the world. When it's not.
Also, if I may, I just want to clear something up because, and I actually have to, I did look this up and I want to get the history again. But the reason the World Series in baseball is called the World Series is because the newspaper, The World, sponsored it.
Oh, that is
right.
Does
So
it
it's not
still?
in that specific case, at least, It's
Huh.
not American exceptionalism,
Yeah.
but the Las Vegas Aces, they have no excuse. It drives me up a wall that they call themselves world champions, and I'm just like, no.
It's crazy, but yeah, like the NBA call themselves world champions, blah blah. But it's crazy, and the running guy, the track guy, who said you're not world champion if you haven't won a World Cup. And when it comes, when you're not American, you become a hero when you win something for your country. In those sports, here Steph Curry, LeBron James, they probably would still be the heroes that they are for the fans if they had won a World Cup and an Olympic. But internationally, if you like, winning for your country is the best thing that you can do for yourself. So when you get Azzi and Dom, like grown professional athletes who are playing the biggest stage in the world, that is the WNBA, yet in the shoot around, that's for the gold, that's for the bronze. That is because you grow up with the sense that the world really is, you are going to conquer the world if you win a World Cup or an Olympic, because it really is the world. And again, I might be wrong, but the US does have that exceptionalism that, if you win something in the US, then you're like, you've accomplished the best thing in the world. But the Olympics and the World Cup are the ultimate competition, and that's where the best of each country is. So when they said that, it was so refreshing to see WNBA athletes putting the proper value in such a big and meaningful competition. And for like,
Well-
I am literally getting emotional because I was introduced to women's basketball via the World Cup in 2006 when Australia was the champion. So it was very I thought it was very sweet and just very eye-opening.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why this isn't showing on the screen, but I'll try to pull it up again. But yeah, I think hold on. Why things are
Eagles brother is asking about what I think when the NFL.
Oh,
said
I
they-
ignored that on purpose because I don't think about the NFL at all, like at all. So I'm not
I
the one
think
to
they're
ask,
just
but
dumb.
if you have an answer, Roberta, go for it.
Oh, it's dumb. It's dumb, and it shows why so many things are wrong in this country. I know people. Oh, you're making a big deal. So no, it's just because it's a tournament. Aren't there international players in the NFL? I know there was a Brazilian guy.
I
But
literally
there's
can't answer anything about the NFL. So
0.001% of
you're
international players
talking
in
to
the
yourself
NFL.
at this point. You've done a
To
lot
hear
more
you,
than
Erica.
I would ever do about an NFL. I don't know anything about that. So
Am
anyway,
I the only one who's not hearing Erica?
you're not hearing me. Hello?
I
Hello.
cannot hear Erica.
I don't know what to do about that. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. I can hear you chewing. I hear you chewing. Oh, there you go. I was like, I hear you chewing.
I don't know what happened.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you can hear us both. Okay, fantastic. I was like, I don't know anything about the NFL. Sorry to the NFL. I just not my cup of tea. And when I say I don't know anything, it's not that I do not understand football. I just choose not to engage in it for a lot of reasons that go beyond just that I just never got into football. Anyway, here's our guide. So I know Henry was like putting out the list, but hey, no need to do that because you can just, especially if you're a premium subscriber, you get access to this whole list that we have here. And we can see, at least from the teams that have named their roster, who is attached, and we have them by WNBA teams. So There you go. This is a premium for our premium subscribers to the Women's Basketball Roundup. And you also get some fun facts about the FIBA Women's World Cup. So all the more reason for you to subscribe. Go ahead and do that. But it also has Henry, I don't know. It has the rosters, which is, of course, the most important part. And you can see some of these rosters are to be determined. And so this is the pool of 16 players for Japan and Spain. But then you have other teams like Australia, actually, who was the first team to confirm their roster. So please do subscribe to the Women's Basketball Roundup, and you too can get access either to that version, or if you subscribe, because you can subscribe absolutely for free, and so free subscribers still get access to the guide. It's in a PDF version, and it gets updated in our newsletter when we have updates. But if you subscribe at a premium level, as soon as this list gets updated, you have access to the list, so you'll get the updates in real time. But yeah, the World Series being MLB in MLB is US centric with a couple of Canadian teams. Well, Canadian teams, so it's just the one, right? Toronto. It's just the one. It's still, though, not number one. The North America is not the world.
Yeah, that's
and again, the World Series, although apparently I did like a quick little search, apparently there's controversy as to whether that is true or not, but I heard that it's named after a newspaper. That's not how it's used, but that's how the name originally it was originated. Anyway, back to women's basketball.
Yeah, back to women's basketball. When I just have such a big bone to pick with this, because the WNBA
You really got her mad now, y'all.
We're going global. We're going global.
Oh,
and it's 3 games in Canada.
I do know something about the NFL. Didn't the commissioner, whatever that man's name is, the white man, well, he is white, right? I mean, I took a chance. No, I actually know. Isn't it? It's still Roger Goodell. Although, isn't he also about to be on the way out? I know some things. I pick up some
I don't
things.
know.
But
I don't know.
It was a guarantee, right, that the NFL would go global. So it's just really interesting. I hear what you're saying. American exceptionalism, we know that is a hot topic.
Yeah.
I rant usually, but if there's something that you want to, I'm pointing over here because I have a screen over here. But if you want Roberta to go off the wall, just talk about American exceptionalism.
Yeah, and I know that I'm, the friend that's too woke. Like, yeah, let's go global. And then yesterday, Kelsey Mitchell left the game overheated. And then in the post-game interview with Holly, Kaylin Clark said, yeah, if Canada had AC, we would it would be better. Like, we wouldn't be overheated. And I was like,
okay, you see, I didn't hear that. Now I'm mad. Canada has hockey.
Oh yeah, here's the quote.
They don't have what? What? That's such okay.
Maybe if Canada had air conditioning, that would probably be helpful. It's 1,000,000 degrees in here. I was like, oh, I'm not going to make any comment on X, because when I saw that, I was like, girl. First thing, she said the most white American things ever in the do you think I have an accent? That's the most Midwestern thing to ask. But again, I am the friend that's too woke. So when we talk about the
I'm actually pissed. I didn't hear that comment, and I could have gone without it.
The WNBA goes global, and it's like.
Like, Canada has hockey 365 24/7. So what? I don't know what that has to do with AC, but cool. Also, modern basketball is nothing like the Canadian version. Modern basketball, nothing like the Canadian version. But yes, I mean,
Yeah.
also depending on who you ask, because I think there's some controversy about who actually created basketball, like literally two different words, basketball,
Yeah.
when it started. But anyway, I do have a basketball, a love story up here. So
Oh.
might have to crack that open and see what the American version of the story is. But anyway, we're gonna keep it moving. There was a lot of news today, and it really did own itself to talking a little bit more about, of course, Nneka Ogwumike, but also the FIBA World Cup with the Satu news. But let's talk about this Seattle Storm team. There was a request to talk about Run Buds. You
Buds.
talked about it last week, so I don't know if you want to give an update.
No, it's because there is a really cool update. There was a second edition of the Run Buds that was yesterday, and I think there were like about 200 people running at Green Lake, and it was so cool. Like it was already sponsored, I think, by Hoka. I think it's HOKA, which is a running thing, a running brand. And Atisha Heidman, of course, she just has so much energy, and she got people to move, and people are running. It's just such a cool community thing that she's doing, getting people to to go outside. The stud buds are known for like partying and drinking, but this is like, just let's go run. And I'm literally an almost $1 million WNBA player, and I'm here running with fans at the park. Like Natisha Heidman truly is such a precious human being. And Sonia Rowland was there, Azzi, Terry, Jordan Horston, Mackenzie Holmes. So the players were there, so it's very, very cool.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's really cool. And I mean, T is just such a great personality. I who is the last who's I know about what the one who's in Oklahoma. I don't do a lot of the men's basketball either, but
Shy
who's the one who
SBA.
Girl, I don't know. Sure, great job being MVP. Great job being MVP.
Yeah.
I did want to come back to something Eagles brother said. Now, this comment wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be at first, but we're what, a year and a half, 2 years removed from when Indiana had a game that they have to like. It was a redonkulous amount of degrees. I thought that they were maybe considering canceling the game. So like, Caitlin, I don't know. That was a weird comment, but that's all I'm going to say about that, because I really don't care to indulge that side of the internet. Not because I'm scared, but because like if I get started, I will make sure I do not stop until I have whittled you down to nothing. Because I can do that. I'm petty enough and I'm intelligent enough. So anyway,
I said today that Kelsey Mitchell is the best player on the Indiana Fever, and someone whose account name is.
No, we're gonna move on. No, I don't even want to. No, we're gonna move on. I don't give it. I really don't care. I don't care, and I don't go there for a reason. So I don't need to do that. Seattle is gonna be playing Dallas this weekend. Nothing on the line for Seattle except to play spoiler to a Dallas team that for sure will be without Azzi Fudd because she is shut down for the season. This is a tough stretch for Dallas. It seems like the morale is low. The coach is taking shots at players that people don't appreciate, and people are calling into question if Dallas is responsible for maybe overusing Azzi Fudd and this injury. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. Here's the thing. You took Azzi Fudd number 1. You know how I feel. You get a top pick. You play a top pick. And Azzi Fudd, similarly to Paige Beckers, did not have healthy, college seasons. No. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure I have enough information right now to definitively say that I think the Dallas Wings did or did not handle that situation correctly. But now they're in a situation where if we look at the standings, Dallas is hanging on to that 8th spot. They're 4.5 games ahead of Portland. So, I think they'll be okay. And they got to start winning some games. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games.
Yeah, I think the big question and for Dallas is if they are out of playoff, what do they do? Because it's rough. But for the Storm again, we go back to what Jordan said that maybe they can spoil someone's season. Will that be the Dallas Wings? Are the Storm is the Storm going to be the team that is on the way of Dallas making one of the teams that's on the way of Dallas making the playoffs, or even I don't know what consequence that would have for the New York Liberty, but I know that the Liberty is also not looking good also. So it's Chicago beating them last night, and at the same time Chicago almost lost for the Storm. I feel like the Storm right now is just, it's crazy because they're finally doing what we have been wanting them to do for the longest time. And that's the main thing that I wanted to talk about on this podcast. Last game, we had over 90 seconds of our Azzi Dom playing basketball at the same time. We had Dom, Azzi, Awa, and then Flauge on the court at the same time. And that changed the direction of the game. The Storm was losing by 20-something points. They tied the game because they had all of them in there. And why did Sonia play them? Because Camila was killing Dom. In fact, Camila held Dom to only 5 field goals made. So I think Dom had 19 points or something. She had 10 points of field goals, and all the other ones were from the free throw line, because she was just not being able to finish. And she was also not getting many rebounds. Camila, unlike the other game against Dom, this time Camila was winning it. And what did Sonia do? Okay, Dom, Awa, and then Awa spread the floor, and okay, all right, bringing the other night of the paint, and then you had the 3 paint players, and it was Camila against the 3 of them, because the rest of the Chicago Sky was not doing anything. And I finally understood Sky fans, because it was literally Camila against Dom, Awa, and Azzi. And then she would stop Awa, and Awa would pass to Azzi. And then she would stop Azzi, Azzi would pass to Dom. And then there will be fouls. So there was a glimpse into the havoc that this Seattle Storm is going to cause to teams in the years to come, because as a basketball enthusiast, what we were watching with that lineup, it brought me a different kind of life, a different kind of belief in basketball, because what they were doing was just fascinating. And I asked post-game Rachel Benham from the Chicago Sky what happened for the Sky to have that drop in the second half, and she said the Storm went big. They went tall, and they had Awa at the 3. So she said that was dangerous. And then
I think it's Awa. We talked about it. We talked about it in length, and I was like, I would not force Azzi to the 3. I would put Awa there. So there you go. But putting them on the floor, and it's not. If I'll put it this way, if you can make that lineup work against a Camila Cardoso, then what could you do with other teams that don't have a Camila, that don't have an Asia, that don't have a Brittany Griner, that don't have a Bree Jones, that don't have a Stewie and a Jonquel Jones? I mean, why not just do it? Clearly, they can find each other, and that's the other thing. Entry passes to the post are an art. They shouldn't be. They should be easier than they are. But you know who can usually pass to the post? A post player.
Yep, exactly. And you know the battle in the paint. I'm back in my. I've been in my Game of Thrones kick for a while now. And there are lots of battle off, and what we saw was battle of the paint, and Camila was killing the Storm in the first half, and then came in the Knights of the Paint, and that's how I'm gonna call them because they wreaked havoc.
Why not the Queens?
Oh. Because the queen usually, looking into the battle, it's the knights who do the dirty job, right? The dirty work. I don't know, the people who fight. Everyone should be a knight,
I actually don't. I know nothing about chess.
Okay, yeah, I would say
I was like, I couldn't tell you.
No, I don't know. I don't know about chess right now. Apparently, I know about medieval.
You're talking medieval. Oh, that's where the
medieval.
I also don't know anything about Game of Thrones. Never got into it. Couldn't tell you anything.
No.
You meant like knights, as in like jousting, courses. Swords, Excalibur be my strength.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. that.
My sword. It's my sword. It's really, if you missed the last episode, it was last episode. Yeah.
It was
the other one. I was in a car, not in my cool office, La Oficina, which is changing. I'm backing up the office. Anyway, we'll have a new set. I'm working on it. Anyway, this was my father's, open the sheath. So maybe I do know about knights. This was my father's letter opener. And now it's mine. So anyway,
I don't know. We have to find. I just for now call them the triple threat because they're also the four knights of the apocalypse. So they're like the three knights of the paint. So that's where I'm going. That's kind of like,
okay, not chess knights, but like medieval knights. Got it.
Yeah. So maybe they're the three knights of the paint.
Queens, but
they could. So it was like, for me, it was such a beautiful, battle. In
Eagles brother category 3.
Category.
And then when Flage is on the court with them, then category 4 has a.
That's also good.
Maybe
that's also good. I like that. So yeah, it's. I wanted to have.
We've already talked about this. Players and coaches don't tank. That's number 1. Number 2, they're already eliminated, so it doesn't matter. And also number 3, the way the WNBA works, the Seattle Storm are going to have a tougher job to get and win the lottery because they were, albeit mediocre, they were not a lottery team in the past 2 seasons. So I feel like we've talked about that. Just want to, come back to that real quick.
Yeah. So I think that what Sonia did there was really what we have been wanting to do. What we have been wanting them.
Global Towers, Block Party.
Block Party.
I feel like Block Party is a little genetic. I feel like I see where you're going with Global Towers.
Yeah. Global Towers make me think of Twin Towers and 9/11. So I don't know.
I, as the New Yorker, didn't think that. So that's interesting. I was emphasizing global because they're international players.
Yeah. No, for me, that's the first thing that I thought was Twin Towers. And
Well, you know what? They did exist. So I don't get too crazy about things like that. What I do get crazy about is people forgetting what it was like to live in a place like New York after 9/11, what it was like to live in the United States as someone who was brown and thought to be non-Christian after 9/11. But you didn't ask me all that. We'll keep it moving. Anyway, so I like the global part. Towers is because of the height, so I'm okay with it. But I don't speak for all New Yorkers. To be clear, I would never do that. Especially about that.
I would,
But I
if you
think
were a
the global
spokesperson.
element, I like the global element. So now we have to like, I would love to see maybe one of something like our podcast where you incorporate different languages, perhaps, because wipe out that other mess that came out of Indiana that I refuse to say. And don't play with me, Roberta. Today's not the day. It's just not the day, because I will take you off the screen and then some. It's already been an emotional day. Don't do it to me. Don't make me be mean.
I can laugh.
I know people think that I'm probably testy already, but like I'm just letting y'all know it ain't today's not the day. Nneka done said she's retiring. I listened to Desiree all morning. It's not the day. It's not the day for that.
I had a joke. All I'm gonna say. No, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
The front court fog or the vault. Oh, because they be locking people down.
Ooh, the vault is good.
Hey. That could work. That could work.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm not gonna say it. Okay.
Okay, that's a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how you identify. And in this case, I do think it matters. I think we just got to be mindful. Just like, this is in love. We're meeting for the first time, I believe, virtually. Maybe we don't do that to a young woman. I don't know. Maybe we don't do that. I would say no to that.
I don't know what that means, but I think maybe I don't want to know.
No, I'll explain it later. I'm not going to over explain here. And I honestly, if I had read the comment, I would not have put it up on the screen at all.
Oh.
So, no, but let's not. Maybe we don't do that. No, we don't need to do that unless there's another explanation. But I don't know it. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no to that. We had the Fever down 6 in the fourth. Why bench Awa and Flaw?
That's something that we have been talking about, the Seattle Storm, that a lot of it doesn't make sense. And we wonder if it's some lack of communication between coaching staff and front office, because that was also an issue in past years when we had a different coach, a different coaching staff, and players were being benched when they should probably be playing. So that is a very good question. And it shall remain a mystery.
It's we don't know.
But now, and I do think, the game before this one, when we had the triple threat play for 90 seconds, Sonia Rahman did mention in the press conference, someone asked, like, why did she decide to play them for the first time? And she didn't mention, this is still a small sample, and to know how they're going to do together is still, in that small sample, you already saw the spark. And then the very next game, she played them for a long stretch together. So we do know that Sonia is, again, a cerebral, data-driven person. And I think that she really wanted to wait until there was less on the line to try this lineup. And we have been saying, like, why don't you just go crazy? Just
I don't. Yeah,
the
timing is suspect, and that in and of itself makes me wonder if it's like it was a directive. And if you are micromanaging your head coach, then there's a problem. So, yes. Henry, we have talked about Awa being extremely, just beautiful human as, inside, outside. And we do have an Awa Fam video. And I think you should take and pay heed to what Eagle's brother suggests. I don't want to pass any judgment. We want to keep it a safe space. And with love, that term is not, no, I would put that to the wayside. You can just say she's a beautiful woman, and that does what it needs to do. That does what it needs to do, because that I would agree with you. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
And then you leave it there. You just leave it there. That's all that needs to be said. That's it. Uncerebral. Is that a word? I'm not sure. And I see what you're trying to do, and I don't agree with what you're trying to do. Because if you had heard what Roberta said, then I think you would realize that someone with an intelligence to be able to make decisions, if they're not empowered to make those decisions, might not make them. But also, Jeff, we know you don't like Sonia. It's a fair question. I do think if Sonia is in a quote unquote hot seat, I still don't know how that would be the case when this team, the expectations were not like the New York Liberty, for example. So, and absolutely room for improvement. And if some of the challenges or some of the mistakes are the same from your last coach to the recent coach, then either you did a bad job at picking a new coach, or the challenges between coaching staff and front office still exist. But either way, you know what that means is that you gotta ask questions a little bit higher than the head coach.
And that means that maybe the Storm should make their GM available more often for us media, because we only.
That's what I've been saying that. I've been saying that on the New York side too, because now it's like you're putting your coach in the hot seat for things that, first of all, I don't. Anyway, that's for a Monday episode with Brian. But yeah. We did talk about stud buds.
We talked about the run buds.
Run buds.
The run buds strategy.
Sure did talk about it.
I was gonna go. Sorry, I think I hit my microphone. I was planning on going, but if you haven't noticed yet, I got very sick. Today, this is me better, but the past 2 days I was in bed coughing, so I didn't want to pass anything that I had 20 Storm player, anyone.
No.
But I didn't want to, pass anything 20 Storm player specifically. So I stayed put, and I'm starting to lose my voice.
Yeah. So, run buds. I think we're also going to talk about it on the We Need to Talk Now podcast. But yeah, creating community is always a good thing, and T's done a great job with that. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see how that's flourished and taken off. But speaking of taken off, we this is an insane comment. Now, see, I was getting ready to leave, and now y'all done made me mad. That's crazy. That is a crazy assertion. First of all, you spelled the name wrong.
Jeff.
First of all, you spelled the name wrong, so I'm going to need you to get that right. So maybe I shouldn't get upset, because I don't even know who you're talking about. But if I do think you're talking about who I think you're talking about, that's wild. That's wild. That's like wild. Insane. The only reason the New York Liberty even have a hope and a prayer to play a first round game is because of Brianna Stewart.
Yep.
Striatic asking, question about T sitting out a game after such a long streak of games. Healthy scratched. We don't call it healthy scratched in basketball. The healthy scratched is a did not play coach's decision. Speaking of, nope. I'm trying. Did not play would be the equivalent of a hockey healthy scratch. So when you see a capital DNP hyphen coach's decision, that is effectively a healthy scratch. For those who are not of the hockey mindset, a healthy scratch is when a player is healthy, as in they don't have any injury that has been disclosed or that is preventing them from performing. The coach chooses not to play them or not to dress them. That's what the scratch part is. So healthy is that they are not on the injury report, and the scratch is that they did not dress for that game. But as in basketball, you don't not dress. Like, that's not a thing. It's actually a recent thing only because of the developmental players or the developmental player spots. And I guess you could consider that quote unquote a healthy scratch because but it's not because they're developmental players. So that's, I'm just translating for the people.
Apparently, I have an attitude now that's rubbing off on you, Erica.
Okay, well, that's his opinion, and I said what I said. Also, it is ridiculous to think that Breanna Stewart is the reason that New York is failing. Like, if you think that, then you're wrong. There are just certain things that are not up to interpretation. Like today
Also,
is
never
Wednesday.
tell a woman to relax, please.
Today is Wednesday. It's the 19th of August. Breanna Stewart's not the problem.
Yeah.
Like, what do we mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do we mean? Also, what attitude? If you got a problem with the attitude, then maybe this ain't for you. I don't know, because I don't know if you notice, but I'm from New York, so if an attitude scares you, then you definitely don't want to be watching my podcast. Because, sorry,
Yeah.
scary woman over here. Bye.
Yeah. Just don't tell women to relax.
No, you will, but who's they? Who's this air quotes they? Nobody except for Jeff. Nobody except for Jeff.
And to answer Striatic, I think that it was more a rest thing. I think that for T, that's my opinion, that was more of a rest, and she ended up she had the second longest consecutive games played streak in the W. She hadn't missed a game in a long time, but honestly, Natisha Heisman has been, she has been the foundation of this team for this season, so she earned some rest.
Yeah, and I think people were critiquing her for doing a run. I don't remember exactly what the timeline was, but if you watch baseball, then you know that baseball pitchers, they run on their off days to get the lactic acid out. So if she needed rest, but your argument is that she went for a run, like, there are things that you have to do as an athlete to keep your body healthy, and running is usually one of them. Unless she was
yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I was like, so unless she was dealing with like an ankle injury that we didn't know about, running is not running is a good thing for a body that actually needs rest, especially because of a lactic acid buildup, which can happen playing sports. But also, it's probably a part of her routine that she is just opening up to the community. So I thought it was a little cray that people were like, "Oh, this is the reason." Like,
there's something that is called active recovery. Like, I'm now in this, I've been doing some sports thing and competing with something here and there, and like, it's you rest, you have to rest, but if you are training your body for sports, you're like, there is some sort of active recovery. So like it can be yoga, it can be running, it can be Pilates. Depends on the sport they're doing. So when it comes to basketball, there's so much weightlifting that goes into it. There's so much movement, and with the running, there's it's more of like a recovery.
Y'all feeling real froggy up in here, like T can do active recovery, as Roberta was saying. Can create a community, as Striatic has wanted us to talk about. And all of those things are good. All of those things are good to go. And again, this is a Seattle team that is eliminated from the postseason.
Yeah.
Along with also Toronto, I just saw, is also
eliminated.
Connecticut, of course. And then is there a team is there someone else? I thought there was another team. It's not, is LA eliminated yet? No, I was looking at it earlier and now I can't remember.
Toronto, Connecticut, and the Storm are the three teams
not yet.
Eliminated.
Yeesh, a 12-game losing streak for Toronto. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, and then the next, and now it's like, I don't know. I think Portland, Chicago, Phoenix, and Los Angeles are not gonna make it. I think
the eight that are in the eight are gonna stay. They just might not stay in that same order. I don't think that we're really gonna see any movement.
Me neither.
I don't think we're gonna see. I am not, and so see ya. Bye. Bye. I know who I am. I don't need you to tell me. Thanks.
I didn't even see the comment.
Don't worry about it. That's as it was meant to be. Don't even worry about it. Eagles brother saying, I know we were done with the Nneka conversation, but I can see her playing a big role in the W in the next chapter of her life. Okay, you know what? Every time I say we're gonna get out of here, y'all bring up something else. I don't want to see Nneka as the commissioner as her first act out of the WNBA. First of all, the WNBA owners, aka the MNBA owners, are not ever gonna sign off on Nneka Ogwumike.
Yeah, people forget sometimes that it all comes from the NBA, and sometimes I forget.
Well, I think people forget like what the WNBPA actually does, and what a commissioner of the league does. They sit on opposite sides of the negotiating table. I don't think it's in Nneka's best interest, even if she ends up wanting to be a commissioner, to do it right away after she retires. She would be responsible for being the Kathy of the players that she just finished playing with. Give it some separation, give it some space. And also, the ownership group was on the opposite side of the negotiating table as she was the president of the WNBPA. I don't see the ownership group co-signing on Nneka Ogwumike as commissioner.
No, absolutely not. No, they wouldn't. No, because the commissioner of the WNBA has to be someone who's going to be on the NBA side. So.
Sounds pretty personal, Jeff. Sounds pretty personal. But
we're getting spicy, huh?
For sure. Can you see Nneka doing something for Stanford? I could see that. I know Striatic asked earlier if we could see her coaching. I'm not saying I couldn't see Nneka coaching. I just don't know that that's. I think she could do so much more than coaching. Yeah. And that, coaching is a very specific skill set. I mean, like Diana Taurasi, who just had her jersey retired, has notoriously said on the now defunct A Touch More podcast, oh, what a time that was. That she doesn't rebound, so she's not which we already knew that, DT. She doesn't, so she couldn't be a coach. Like, she's not trying to be nobody's coach. Better suited for a front office position. I think Nneka, I could see her as a coach, and I also think that her skill set is probably better suited in another role.
Yeah, I could definitely see something in terms of like player relations, and just like trying some. I do see her in some capacity is still heavily involved with the WNBPA.
Yeah,
We
and
do
that's
know
what
that
Henry.
now there's going to be more in terms of retired players. So she might also help expand the WNBPA because the MNBA has a players association that has much more than the WNBPA. So maybe this is what's next, in
Yeah,
terms of players'
for
rights.
retired players, really incorporating them. What would that look like? Henry saying, I can see NECA doing Terry Carmichael Jackson's job. She's the executive director of the WNBPA. Now that I think makes sense. I still would give it a little bit of time. I think being a little bit removed from your playing days is just probably good for everybody for some perspective. For perspective, because even if you're on and working with the WNBPA, there's still conversations that you have to have that you want to
Yeah.
be able to have. And not that NECA couldn't do this, but you want to be able to have those, and make sure that they are there's not an aura, because I mean NECA has kind of talked about, even with you, right, to the question that you asked, that she's always on when she's always Madam President and not NECA the basketball player. If that's happening now, I think separating herself by one, just like, I don't know, I'd say 3 to 5 years is probably a good window. Maybe
I
she'll do
agree.
some broadcast work.
hmm No, I agree. I think that there will be some. I don't know. At the same time, I think that Neka already knows exactly what she's going to do next, and she's just like gonna take her time
I love it.
to announce it whenever she wants to. So
Jade will tell us.
yeah, she won't tell us or anything. I no, that I don't know if that's just. I don't think that we're going to see her as like a general manager or front office position with a team. I don't really see that. I don't see her in like a team capacity. I do see her in more of like a league and player big picture
And for me, I
situation.
think even going back to why this is probably, I'm starting to be able to articulate what I was thinking. I think she not only thinks in big picture impact, but has already proven that she can be impactful at big picture impact. And you're not doing that as a coach. You're not doing that as a GM.
No.
Working with a league or at a league level,
Yeah,
I think
exactly. That's yeah.
is what makes sense. And yes, it has been reported that she is still doing Project B. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's still gonna do Project B. There is a meme in Brazil that goes contrato, né? Tem que ir, which is like sign the contract to do it. But I'm sure that like she wants to do it. It's a new league that has also had so much controversy around it, but not even gonna get there. But yeah, I think that NECA is far from being done with like being the WNBA landscape. She is going to contribute so much, but now she's gonna be able to, maybe she can rest for a little bit. Maybe she can earn like some years to enjoy herself or even figure out. So yeah.
So Eagles brother saying, whatever NECA does, I will be proud of her.
Yeah.
Enjoy both her and her sister anytime they're on TV for
Mhm.
sure. Jeff saying they should create a new job, maybe head of player personnel, like Kathy, state commissioner. I believe that also Kathy don't want to be here, y'all. Like, I don't know, like when you miss the job that you get paid to do as your main job, when you miss the 30th anniversary game because you're at an event for an organization that you're on the board of directors. Board of directors are usually, and I am going to use the term as it's used, although anyway, when you're on a board of directors, usually that's a volunteer role. and you're not being paid, usually. I don't know why you would go to an event that you're on the board of directors for and not to the anniversary game in the 30th season of the league that you are the actual commissioner for. Now, I guess you could argue, oh, well, you know, maybe she made those plans in advance. I mean, the league has known when their 30th anniversary was since 1997. So there's that. Also, if you have a job that you started in 2019 and it's 2026, maybe you kind of tell the volunteer role, sorry, can't make it. I now have a conflict that I didn't have when I signed up to do this in 2019, if that even happens. I don't know that they planned that far in advance, but let's just assume they did. I feel like you kind of need to be there, Kathy.
Yeah, and also any job that
Also,
Nneka
it's
would
Kathy
have
with a
in
C.
the WNBA.
Kathy with a C, as someone who has her name spelled wrong all the time. And I like Erica with a K. That's just not me. I mean, they exist. I'm just not her.
Yeah. And just like, you know, I think that any job within the like being employed by the WNBA would constrain Nneka a lot, because basically your employer is the NBA. So like you can, you know, you have to abide by what they're saying. So like I said, I don't see Nneka in like an official WNBA capacity, but definitely something player related, or, you know, in that sense.
I should be in the next commissioner.
Yeah.
The league ain't ready for me. The board of or the ownership group would not. They would not. They don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke. The PA might not even want the smoke. So there you go.
Yeah.
She's a queen of paperwork and etiquette. I don't know. You mean Kathy with a C? I don't know who you're talking about. And also, listen, you can say a lot of things about Kathy Engelbert, but one of the things you should absolutely say is that she, first of all, is literally the first ever commissioner, because no one was ever empowered with that title, which tells you a lot about the league itself, but specifically NBA enterprises, because for those who don't realize, y'all really got me feeling some kind of way tonight. I just want to clear this up. The WNBA is not being subsidized by the National Basketball Association. They are a subsidiary of NBA enterprises. Subsidized and subsidiary, they sound similar. They can even look a little similar on paper. Two different words. Similarly to Bleacher Report Women is not being subsidized by Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report Women is owned by
Bleacher Report Women?
No, Bleacher Report Women is Bleacher Report Women.
Yeah.
It is Bleacher Report Women. Bleacher Report is a TNT
or yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Is a Warner Brothers company. Warner Brothers owns both of them. In media, we call those verticals. Of the same company. Of the same company. So anytime people are like, oh, the WNBA can't get its life together, then you're really talking about Adam Silver is not doing his job.
Yeah.
Adam Silver is Kathy Engelbert's boss. Just to be clear, because I feel like people don't realize that. Subsidiary and subsidized, two different things. Subsidiary is what the WNBA is to the NBA. It is not being subsidized because, I mean, that's kind of like saying that you are in a healthy marriage and you give child support to your children. No, those are your children. Or it's like saying you babysit your own children. You don't those are your, like, that's your job, is to take care of. You don't babysit your own children. Anyway. So again, subsidiary is effectively like it's a branch of. It is a smaller part of a larger organization. Subsidiary is the word. Subsidized Different word, different meaning, not applicable. See, I think people don't know this, and it's because the talking heads in media don't explain it. Okay, nope. I'm good. I'm not interested in intentions right now. Impact was felt. Thanks. Anyway, so yes, that's the difference there. And what I was saying is that Kathy Engelbert, you can say a lot about her, and as the first ever commissioner, you're welcome. As the first ever commissioner, has been someone who has gotten the business in order, has brought sponsorship money to the table. And I do want to say this, because listen to what Kelsey Plum said several seasons ago. This was during what became the 2029 collective bargaining agreement. Kelsey Plum said there would be times where we would bring partners that wanted to work with the WNBA to the table, and NBA Enterprises said, nope, can't have it. You got to tell me when you're going off screen, homie. You can't do it because we have to vet it through NBA Enterprises. Similarly to how things happen in the NCAA, it's a trickle-down effect. So when you buy into the NCAA, you're buying into men's basketball, and then you have to buy property in men's basketball if you want to support even things like volleyball and women's basketball. You have to be, it's a package deal. The Olympics kind of works the same way. It's similar, but not the same. But anyway, now I do feel like a professor, because I like talking about these things, because these things are not corrected in real time when they are falsely perpetuated. So what Kathy did is she brought business. And what I was saying about Kelsey Plum is there was a time pre-Kathy Engelbert where the NBA Enterprises would not empower the WNBA to make their own deals. They would not empower the WNBA to make their own deals. So if you want to talk about, oh, the WNBA isn't making money, the WNBA is this, the WNBA is that, that means that you don't like how NBA Enterprises does business for one of their subsidiaries. They have an ownership stake, a majority % ownership stake. So yeah, it's kind of their fault, homie. But
Yeah.
it wasn't until recently that even the WNBPA could have and make their own deals. That's something that came with Kathy Engelbert. And I'm not necessarily saying that she gets credit for creating that landscape. I think that her in that role, the NBA and AKA Adam Silver empowered her to do more. So I'm not blaming other people who were not named commissioners that were presidents before. And I'm not saying that Kathy gets all of the credit for that. I think that the infrastructure shifted in a major way, and she just happened to be in the lead. And what is also true is that she brought her business acumen, she brought her business knowledge and sense, and tightened up in a way that we haven't seen before, partially because nobody was empowered to do as much as she's been empowered to do. And also, in part, and in strong part, because Kathy possesses those skills. So again, if you really want to talk about what's going on, I'm here for it, because unfortunately, when people like me say these things, we're just being a hater or whatever the case, or people don't go into the nuance and the detail. Subsidiary and subsidized, two different things. So I don't know what, I'm not exactly sure what that comment, but I love Quita in the morning. Anyway, I hope one day when we're all old and retired that we get the breaking news that the WNBA goes independent from the grasp of the NBA commissioner holding it back. I'd love to see that. And that's why people like Cheryl Miller talked about the recent broadcast. That's why it was reported that maybe the WNBA was going to separate their negotiation for their contract from the NBA. It ultimately didn't happen that way, but there is evidence to support that what they did get, even though it was a groundbreaking broadcast deal, again, arbitrarily held back, or I didn't say that explicitly, but that's what I was referring to, an arbitrarily being held back, aka someone chose to hold it back because they didn't see or didn't care to see the value in something. But this new deal can be two things. It can be multiple. It can be more than two things. It can be groundbreaking and historic, which it is, the broadcast deal, and it can be a gross undervalue of what is and also what is projected to be. Because here's another thing that, all of these business 101 people think that people who support the WNBA don't know. You can earn a contract not just because of what you have done, what you are doing, but you also earn contracts for what you have the potential to do. Shohei Ohtani, how many World Series did he win before getting the most lucrative contract in MLB history? How many? No, somebody put it in the chat. How many? I mean, I know the answer. I just want to make sure y'all know the answer. And if you don't know the answer, it's okay. Look it up. Okay. How do you get the best contract that has ever existed in your sport and you have the number of championships that he had? So don't tell me that it's about what have you done for me lately or what have you done. We project what people are worth all of the time. That's a part of what contracts are, which is why they're a multi-year usually.
Yeah, when you invest in a company, when you're raising capital, like you're trying to build something up. So yeah.
I mean, but go check out what the conversation that I had about all of this right before the CBA was signed, because these are things that people need to know about. But anyway. Franchise business models. That's correct. But you know what? When franchises enter into a business model with the WNBA, they're not doing that. They're entering into a business deal with the NBA.
Yep.
Is the thing. Even, and this is a really super clear way. The league staff that we deal with for communications, for operations, their email is their name at nba.com. If they were separate entities, why would WNBA staffers have an at nba.com email?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are their emails also being subsidized? Is that a part of the subsidy? No, not subsidiary. Other word. Is that part of the subsidized package? Come on, fam. Let's not be daft. And unfortunately, when you say this historically as a woman, people, even though these are all facts and have been written about, and you can look it up, including David Berry says it all of the time, and you should check out our interview with him. But if a woman says it, oh, it's business 101. I know, darling. I know it's business 101. That's why I'm telling you how it works. And I didn't even go to business school, but I know how to read.
even if you go to business school, people are still gonna,
But I know how to read. I know how to read contracts because I was raised by a lawyer. I know how to read long documents because I was trained in the academic sphere in political science, and that's all we do is read long papers and write long papers, which is also why I talk as much as I do, probably.
Part of being New Yorker too.
Oh, there's a lot of reasons why I am who I am, and I own all of it.
Yep, exactly.
I own every single morsel. Hate it or love it, I'm cool either way. I'm cool either way. But what I'm not cool with is don't come for my people, because I will go mama bear real quick, as I did. And listen, I will say this because I tried real hard on Monday. I think you would be proud of Roberta. I tried real hard to keep it cool because apparently I've been too negative on the New York Liberty. I mean, it's not my fault that they're not doing what they say.
The team is being negative.
It's not my fault they're not doing what they said they were going to do. I'm just the one calling it out. So if that's negative, I don't know. Maybe you just are too committed to I don't know, fantasies. I don't know. Anyway, so I remixed things. I did another thing. But what I will always say is, listen, could I have worded things differently? Absolutely. Thank you, Eagles brother. I mean, I get it. And I always say and because I leave room for growth. I know that, my approach is not for everyone. I stand on everything that I said. I would not change what I said. Can I change how I say things? I'm open to that. And I'm learning.
Aren't we
I'm
all?
open to it. I'm not committing to saying I'm wrong,
I agree with you. Yeah.
but I'm open to it. So if you want to have a real conversation about that, I'm fine with that. And I've apologized. I've course corrected. I've had to be called out, and I'm okay with that. Let's have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But know this. I indeed did say what I said. And I meant it.
Yep.
Because I know what I know. If you know what I mean. Just like Brandy said on Moesha. That used to be my show. That was an underrated show. If you know, I know what I know. If you know what I mean.
Yep. And that's how it goes.
That's how it goes. So again, open to things. We can have a conversation. I've been wrong about a lot of things, like Emma Messiman's not coming to the WNBA. Well, didn't she come on over? Now, should she have? No, but that's a whole nother story. But she did. So I had to be like, oh, well, dang. And if I'm wrong about New York, if I'm wrong about Sonia Roman, then I'll be wrong. I'm just shooting from the hip, as they say, calling it like I see it. And I am working and I am open to if delivery is a little bit too much sandpaper. Y'all know I love sandpaper. In fairness, I tell y'all who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very transparent in that way. I tell y'all exactly who I am.
Yep.
But I'm open to it. Anyway, on that note, because I am learning, Roberta, you get last word. You get last word on today's episode. We went through a lot and I ranted on a lot, as I am wont to do. But whether it's Nneka, your interviews with Dom, we have some interviews we haven't even shown yet. That's going to be exciting. I mean, what is the last word you want to leave Seattle Storm fans with?
I think that for the Storm fans that are here on this chat, the Storm fans who have been following us, for the rest of the season, I think we have to do what Sonia did this last game, which is to just embrace the new and just let this team run wild and free, because they need those reps. And at the end of the season, the team is going to have decisions to make. They're going to have players to sign. One thing that's for sure, those players love being here. Those players love playing for the Seattle Storm. This group does appreciate each other a lot. There's a little, like Erica said, we have more interviews. There's one with Awa, and in the beginning of that interview, it's Awa and Flage just basically picking on each other because they are just this team, they are young and they are literally growing together. So you can tell that they are building something special. And I'll be honest, even though sometimes it's tough to cover a team that is gonna there's not gonna be a lot of good things to talk about, or it's not gonna be lots of games are gonna be ugly. You have to think of the big picture, and hopefully you're gonna be covering a championship game in a few years. So this is a team of fun personalities, and we have a lot of cool content.
Wait, what was that?
Fun personalities.
I don't know what I thought you said, but I was like, wait, is that a Portuguese word that you just...
No, fun personalities.
Fun personalities.
People with personalities that are
fun. What is a fun personalis? I was like...
No, fun personalities.
I just heard it wrong, that's all.
Yeah, it's a good team. It's an international team. So I think what we saw this last game made me very happy. Being able to see the big three on the court, and you see the off the court, what Natisha Heidman is doing. She's a vet in the league. She could just be building her brand with the stud buds and doing things for herself, but she's building community. It's a fun team, and
you can do both, and I think she's showing that.
Yeah, so for the Storm fans and for the people who watch us regularly and have doesn't even have to be kind, but interesting things to say. We really appreciate you. The people who are here just to be upset. So, but the thing about Eric and I is that we are not afraid of we're not afraid of being who we are, and we have been. People sometimes don't realize how long we have been in the women's basketball game, Erica.
I know it. Oh, I know it.
People think that I've been here for a really long time, and you feel confident saying things when like 90% of the things that you say turn out to be what it actually is. So it's not our fault that it upsets people. The truth shall set you free. And we were here for the women's basketball, and you have Latina New Yorker and now Latina who lived in New York for 5 years. So you're not gonna get away easy on this podcast. But we do love women's basketball, and that's what we're here for.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? What I loved is that you talked about effectively that Sonia Roman should let this team cook. And it reminded me, because I love a callback. I love a callback moment. It reminded me of another epic song from the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack, Young Hearts Run Free.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play it because I do not want to get a YouTube strike, but y'all go check this song out. And this scene, I mean, there's a drug-induced karaoke moment that you should see. John Leguizamo dressed up like the devil. Just amazing. Anyway, go check it out. Young Hearts Run Free. Clearly, I'm in a Romeo and Juliet mood, as in the Baz Luhrmann adaptation. You should absolutely go check it out. But that will do for our show. I'm so grateful that I gave you last word and that I could circle back to Romeo and Juliet, just like we started this episode.
Yeah.
2 hours ago. We were like, we're gonna
2 hours and 20 minutes.
You were like, I'm not feeling well. We were gonna do some other talking. We're like 60 minutes. We'll be in and out.
Yeah.
Never. Anytime we should know this. Anytime we say that, that's not what's gonna happen.
And we started by talking about Nneka. I mean,
I know.
I think the first hour was about Nneka. Like
exactly. Well, we appreciate all of you. Henry, thank you for stopping in. Jeff, Eagle's brother. Who else do we have? Tammy was in the chat. So we had a good time. Striatic, of course. And even the haters. Listen, where would we be without you? Maybe a little bit more restful and with some more peace of mind. Leslie hopped in for a while as well. And if you want to, please not only subscribe and comment, but also join our community. You can join our Slack community by subscribing for free to the Women's Basketball Roundup. If you want the Excel spreadsheet of what we showed earlier with all of the tabs for the rosters for FIBA World Cup, then subscribe to premium membership for the Women's Basketball Roundup. But for Roberta Rodriguez, Erica L. Ayala, I hope y'all have a fantastic night, and we will catch you on the next episode of Tempestade Talk, where we keep a local eye on your Seattle Storm. Peace out, everybody.